What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about Chaos Legion and what we would need in order to quote-unquote save Chaos Legion. What I mean by that is obviously save the value, because you can see right now, I mean, this thing is getting pushed down so hard. Now, I do think that the floor for Chaos Legion, obviously being as low as it is right now, is something that is somewhat artificial. I think people are selling off a lot of the additional Chaos Legion assets that they have, whether it's cards or packs, in order to prepare for Rebellion. So I do think some of that sell pressure will stop over time, but it makes sense right now. Again, this is not financial advice, and I'm not telling you to go and buy Chaos packs because this is the bottom and they're only going to go up from here. The fact is, there's still like 2.7 million unopened packs that are just circulating around. I still got one a couple of days ago in my reward chest. So again, not that those are being printed out of thin air. Obviously, there was a certain amount, but the point is, I don't know when that runs out. There's still more being added to the overall circulation pile. But as I think about what can save the value for Chaos Legion, and I'm being realistic here, I don't know that we're ever going to see like crazy multiples. I do think it is possible for us to see, you know, a $4 pack again at some point in the future. But in terms of, you know, it getting up to $8, $12, $15, $20, or even rivaling where Untamed used to be, I just don't necessarily see that happening. Again, that's just me. That might be a little bearish. But again, I'm somebody who's holding a good amount of Chaos Legion packs, so I'm down just like you guys. But I'm just trying to be realistic here. So taking it back to what I wanted to focus on for the video, in my opinion, there's two things that can save the value of Chaos Legion, or at least bring the value up, giving those cards and packs utility. One of them involves just the community that we have here, and the second one will involve bringing in new players. So let's talk about the first one. Let's assume we stay in a sideways, maybe even down market over the next year, it's got to be land. Land is probably one of the major things that can save Chaos Legion at this point. And it's so vitally important that land not just comes out, but we get the 1.6, 2.0, you know, and maybe even like 2.5 or 3.0 final iterations of this by the end of 2024. And the reason I'm bringing that up, or early 2025, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because, yes, land does have the ability to soak up a ton of cards off the marketplace, right? Now, we know that there's a bunch of alpha, beta, untamed that people are going to use on land. But there's a lot that people will just still hold on to be able to play in game. So Chaos Legion, I think, can represent a lot of that. And what we know so far about Rebellion is that Rebellion is not going to have any kind of multiplier. In fact, it's going to have a penalty for using it on land. It's going to be a 0.5 production rather than just a 1x, right? Which is what Chaos Legion gets. And obviously the other sets get some kind of bonus off that. So in my opinion, if we're going to do it with just the player base that we have here, which is still sizable, right? There's still people spending money on the game, excited about it, excited about what land, Rebellion, and you know, all the other things are going to bring. We need to get it so that people are trying to get the absolute most out of their land. We need, you know, maybe not 100% utilization, but it's got to be like, you know, 60, 70, 80%. And what I mean by that is not just the DEC, but also the units, right? Or the cards themselves, soaking up all of those extra cards off the marketplace and actually getting them used in land. Now, the crazy thing about this is that your high value cards, no matter what happens, because I've heard this argument used, I'll give a shout out to Virus. I've heard this argument used even like if we do like a burn event, right? It's always going to be the cheapest cards that are going to be burned or that are going to be stored on land. So when we talk about this, like, you know, like the Riftwatcher burning proposal that came up, or if we were to do something like that, people are going to take the Hardy Stonefishes, the Gargoyle lines, they're going to burn those and not, you know, Deep Lurker. So Deep Lurker and Goblin Psychic, all these like common cards from Chaos, which are actually crucial to the meta, those will still be rampant in their oversupply and print rate. So in a sense, it's just like, okay, we want to lock up a bunch of things. Will that bring the value of Chaos Legion up? Maybe, but some of the core meta cards, those might not be soaked up because the players that are playing the game already have what they need. And you know, it's like we're not going to be buying, like I'm not going to buy like a 10-cent Deep Lurker for land when I can get a 1-cent Hardy Stonefish. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. So with that being the case, I don't know that that's going to save Chaos Legion packs or Chaos Legion value, either packs or cards, in the way that we're hoping. Although I think it can just do a lot in terms of like soaking up a ton of cards off the marketplace, and maybe that's something that could bring the estimated value and the actual value of the price or the price of packs up on Hive Engine. Now, the other side of this is bringing in new players. Now, obviously, the team gutted their marketing department, I should say. And again, I'm not trying to be insensitive. Obviously, people lost their jobs. So my point is not to focus on what the marketing team did or didn't do right. But in a way, I agree with where Matt is focusing on from a marketing perspective that he's always had, right? Where it's just raising the prices, raising the values of the assets, and the ecosystem is what is going to bring people in, right? At the end of the day, people want to see asset values going up. That's what made 2021 such a huge boom, and people thought that was going to hold forever and only continue going up, right? We all got caught in that bull market trap essentially, right? And it wasn't just this game; it was literally every game out there. People got absolutely wrecked because they thought the rocket ship was just starting to take off, not that it was already peaked. So when we talk about this, and I've said this multiple times on stream and in videos, to me, sure, card prices and card values can go up, but people aren't necessarily paying attention to that for those who are outside the game. If you really want to have this game take off in terms of bringing in new players, it's got to be SPS, right? We got to activate the flywheel, and we got to increase demand for SPS. In that way, right? By doing so. And land can be a part of this, right? Land can be a part of this. The Rebellion sale will be a part of it, right? All of these avenues to burn DEC, lock it up in the DAO, and then burn SPS in order to create more DEC to navigate the game economy. All of these things can help to create that demand on SPS over time. And like I said, there's no better marketing than having like a crazy green candle, right? 300, 400, 500x. Now, the thing is, SPS is super low as it is right now. What are we at? We're at like 1.3 cents. So, I talked about this in a previous video. If we were to do a 3x from here, that would put us at 4 cents, right? So a 4-cent SPS would also still show on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko a 300% gain, right? So that in and of itself is going to get people to take a look at what's happening. And if we do have, the launch of land, a new set, and actually cheap Chaos Legion cards available for people to come in, that creates a nice, I don't want to say perfect storm, but it's a good mix of elements that could get people to come into the game and start buying the cards that they need. Again, the reason why I like this plan better is because then people are actually buying Deep Lurkers, right? They're actually buying Deep Lurkers, they're buying Goblin Psychics, they're buying all the cards that are important to the meta because they realize that they need them, and they're seeing them for relatively cheap compared to maybe some of the Rebellion cards out there. So all in all, my hope is that we get SPS just going to the absolute moon. Don't forget also that if people are coming in, they'll need to buy and stake SPS. That could add to the buy pressure over time. That'll lock up a bunch more SPS in the staking contract as well. So in that way, right, that to me is the preferred outcome. And if we time that appropriately with a potential bull run following the Bitcoin halving, that will be in April of 2024. That's roughly the midway point of this Rebellion sale. If the Rebellion sale goes a full year, I don't know, that could make for an exciting time where players are coming in, checking out the game slowly and maybe quickly, eating up assets off the marketplace. Again, it's got to be SPS that leads the way, and that's why I'm all about SPS at this point. But that will lead to more people coming in and buying Chaos Legion assets, raising the floor value of them, raising the pack value, and over time, just clearing that out, right? The extra excess that we had for Chaos Legion. Now, no matter what, whether it's land, whether it is Rebellion, I do believe all this stuff needs to be done within the 2024 calendar year, because if we follow Matt's kind of game plan here on when new sets are expected, we can expect Chaos Legion to rotate out of Modern probably sometime, we'll say like early to mid 2026. And the reason is because, Matt said he wants to have it on sale for roughly a year and then have a 3 to 6 month period of no card packs available. So if the general sale is going live in December, I know the pre-sale starts soon, but if the general sale goes live in December, we have roughly 365 days of that sale. Maybe it sells out a little bit early, people buy packs. then it's probably not going to be until Q1 or Q2 of 2025. I'm sorry to say it's 2026, 2025 that we will see the rotation of Chaos Legion out of Modern format. Again, when that happens, I think we could see not necessarily another devaluation of cards, but they won't be as necessary. You can see what's happening to Untamed right now. Essentially, I've covered that in a previous video. So that's kind of where my head is at. Getting SPS, the flywheel for SPS activated, is going to be the most important thing over the course of the next, we'll call it 6 to 12 months. But in case we don't, in case it's just a small activation, or we just are soaking up DEC off the marketplace, whatever it is, the team will have to deliver land so that the players here who actually want to get cool stuff out of whatever land has to offer, it can't just be 1.5. We're going to need 2.0. We're going to need 2.5, all these things. And I do think all this needs to happen, as crazy as it is, within the calendar year of 2024, simply because once that's done, Chaos Legion card value or pack value is not going to be as high from a gameplay perspective. Yeah, sure, maybe from a land perspective, but even still, what happens, for example, when Rebellion, well, I guess Rebellion wouldn't rotate out of Modern, but if we get a new core set sometime in 2025, that would push Rebellion up to be that same kind of 1x. And so therefore people would have their pick of the litter for Rebellion cards if those end up being just as cheap. But I'm kind of getting off the reservation here, so I'm going a little too far in the future if we're talking about 2025 already. I think 2024 is going to be a very crucial year for getting this right one way or the other, and it's going to require the delivery of land regardless, but hopefully land 2.0, 2.5, and all the other iterations that Matt has planned for his grand vision. But even if not, if the Rebellion set can be as successful as I'm hoping it will be over time, and if we can time that, there's a little luck involved. If we can time that well with, Bitcoin halving and the rest of the market, that could be something that makes hopefully the second half of 2024 really exciting and pulls in new players to really soak up that demand. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.